your videos are such high quality, but you've got such a fun and friendly way of promoting that you just can't help but learn when you show a technique in that. But you went from doing English with a focus on poetry to dancing, then to boxing to jiu-jitsu. You've talked about having older brothers and being a tomboy when you were younger. Was this the path you were always destined to go on, do you think?
In a way, I think it was. So I was raised in the South in Tallahassee, Florida, in a very
Hmm.
kind of traditional town. Now, my family is not very traditional at all. We kind of stuck out like a sore thumb in this in this city. I grew up in a neighborhood called Rose Hill, and we would joke and call ourselves the Rose Hillbillies because we just didn't quite fit in the neighborhood.
Hmm.
Um, and my family's just very eclectic, multicultural, and my family always really encouraged us to kind of find our own way, find our own identity, explore and stay curious. And so I think as, a young girl growing up in kind of this traditional town, because my parents encouraged me to explore, I wasn't afraid of kind of being interested in things that other girls my age weren't really interested in. So I grew up as a competitive dancer from the time I was very, very young. But I always had this passionate interest for combat sports, for kind of kung fu movies, for action movies.
Okay.
And I didn't pursue it until I was much older, but it was always in me. It had always been something I was fascinated by.
So did you get any pushback? Because I know in traditional circles, girls are flimsy, where men are meant to do all these kind of, and it's that silly attitudes that still prevail in a lot of sports now. Did you have any kind of fight from your parents, from locals, to kind of say, no, no, you stick to dancing instead of taking on combat sports? Or was it just rough and tumble like your brothers? I want to do that, and I want to see and fulfill what I see on the screen.
No pushback from my family. Absolutely none. They were not
Love
surprised
it.
at all when I expressed my interest in combat sports. Growing up, my parents would even joke and say, we're very like, we want to make sure our boys are okay, but we know Rose is going to take care of herself. She'll be fine. Because I think I was just always a little bit feisty. Had an attitude for sure. Growing up, I was not afraid to speak my mind. So I was always a little bit, I was very assertive, and I think my mom really appreciated that about me, but I think it also kind of scared her a little bit. So no surprise from my parents, no pushback from my parents. Maybe a little bit from like the older generations in my family, and certainly from people who didn't know me very well. I would get comments about not ruining a pretty face and stuff like that, and I just never
Mm.
really bought into it. I never really took it too seriously. I think I was just always so interested in whatever it was I was interested in. So the outside noise didn't really mean that much to me, I guess. I never really took it seriously.
It's sad, isn't it, in a way, in this day and age where girls are viewed by their looks, where guys are viewed by their abilities, and even now, we're so far removed from a lot of these ridiculously stupid viewpoints, and we're still ruled by a lot of these, and it's sad that girls don't get that opportunities, and that's why I think it's so good for you as a role model to be showing people by coaching, by introducing them into this amazing sport. I love how they call it the gentle art, and you get your arse kicked for
Yeah.
most of the training session. But